Om Sadashivasamarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam. So morning we saw the first definition of yoga, Chitta Vritti Nirodha, with all its nuances. And he said, how are you going to get this whole thing, mastery? Especially if you are leading busy modern lives. How are you going to get it? You know, couple of hours of yoga practice every day, difficult. So there is where the second definition of yoga comes in. Samatvam yoga muchyate. Balance, emotional balance in life is called yoga. This is from the second chapter of the Gita. Samatvam yoga muchyate. Now, what is this samatvam about? This balance about? Morning I touched upon it. The first prerequisite would be to live by your priorities. You decide, you choose. What are your priorities? Generally, we'll live by our desires. Nothing wrong. Nothing wrong in it. What's wrong? I mean, only a human being can desire. I can get up in the morning and have a desire to eat an omelette or a cutlet or whatever. A cow cannot do that. The cow is a sacred animal in India, but a cow does not have the freedom to desire. Shall I eat grass or shall I go for an omelette? A cow cannot desire that. You and I can. But the problem of functioning with the desires is, I have lost the game before I played the game. Why? Because if fulfillment of desires are going to give me happiness, I will never fulfill all my desires. We all of us have lived 20, 30, 40, 50 years and we know we cannot fulfill all of them. Some of them, yeah, but not all of them. So, the thing is to live your life by your priorities. Now, we all are familiar with priorities in terms of work. What do we do first? What do we do? No, I am using the term a little differently. I am defining the priority as the need, can come in this place, yeah, as the need behind the desire. The need behind the desire. Like someone comes and tells me, desire, Swamiji, I want a job. India is a big thing to get a job. I want a job. I say, where do you want a job? Swamiji, without money, how are you going to live? I need some money. Oh, you need money, that's all, right? Open a small little kiosk. You know, there is something that we call in India, vada pav. Have you all heard about it? We call it the Indian burger. It's just a piece of bread with a fried dumpling inside and some nice spicy chutney that goes along with it. Be careful when the first time you try it. Keep some water or something ready, okay? You'll need it. Open that. I know this guy who has opened a vada pav stall and he's making volume is a bit high. I just lower it slightly. Okay. Yeah, now? Yes. Okay. So he's making 10,000 bucks profit every day. Why don't you open a stall like that? You'll make your money. Where do you want a job? Swamiji, no social standing. I want some social standing. I want people to look up to me. Now, the stated desire is job, money. But behind that, there is a hidden priority. Not only wealth, but also social standing. For him. So, the need behind your desire is what is your priority. It's like falling in love. Didn't work out. Are you going to remain single, pining away for that man or woman all your life? Are you? Is that a healthy way of living? Don't look at my robes and give me a right answer, okay? That's unhealthy. What are you talking about? Because the man or woman was one individual that could fulfill your need. The need is emotional and physical companionship. Sexuality, this is the need. That is your priority. Stated desire is this particular person, with the need behind it. So to identify your deeper priorities and live by that. If money is your priority, if not this way, some other way you will get it. If social standing is your priority, this way or that way you can get it. There are more than one ways of getting what you want, what you really need. So to live by priorities is really speaking as good as fulfilling all your desires. Behind 100 desires, there can be just about half a dozen priorities. 100 desires everyone cannot fulfill. But half a dozen priorities? Yeah, that's easy. That can be done. Over the next few years, I can get it all. My life is made. But there is one problem. It's always a flip side to it. It's always a catch somewhere. What is the flip side? Flip side is, because I recognize it's a priority, is very important for me. Therefore, when I am trying to fulfill my priority, my stress levels are very high. Because it's so important. It is so important. Now, how do I take care of that? And how do I fulfill these things and grow spiritually? How do I get that balance in life? So, priorities will bring about some amount of balance. But there is more balance necessary. Because my stress, all that has to be balanced. Remember, yoga, chitta, vritti, nirodha, mastery of the mind. So, if I am feeling stressed out, what mastery is there? If I am anxious, worried, or fearful, where is the mastery? Mastery is gone. So, how do I live? How do I live a life where I can pursue my yogic, my spiritual goals, at the same time get a balance in my life? Plus, Swamiji, I am honestly telling you, I can't practice 2 hours of yoga a day. I just don't have the time. I am a corporate executive. My work takes a lot of my time. After that, my family is. So, where am I going to do 2 hours of yoga every day? Don't worry, don't worry. We have a way out of it. You do enough necessary for your health. Because that's a priority for all of us. Can anyone say health is not a priority? We may not be living like that, but health is a priority for all of us. I mean, for that you don't necessarily have to go vegan. Okay. Yeah. But eat healthy. That's exercise. That much minimum you can do. Then what? Then we bring in the idea of what we popularly known as karma yoga. It's also called buddhi yoga. Why is it called buddhi yoga? Buddhi means here. Karma means your action. Karma yoga is not a yoga of action. It is a yoga of an attitude toward the same action. Now here is where the beauty comes in. Okay, one thing I have to confess. There is no secular karma yoga. Okay, there is no secular karma yoga. You need to bring in some understanding of God. The understanding can be across religions. You can believe in the God of your religion, Ishvara, Bhagavan as we call in India, of your religion and still be a karma yogi. You don't have to change your ways of worship. But I cannot say I'm an atheist and become a karma yogi is a little bit difficult. To be a complete atheist and say I'm working out karma yoga, a little dicey. Why? Because, okay, minimum understanding of God, okay, very simple understanding, this need not belong to any religion. It can be common base for all religions. You see, there's a creation. There is something existing. Anything exists that should have some intelligence behind it. Because you find it's all intelligently put together. Look at a tree growing. There's so much of intelligence. Huge tree, one small seed. This small little seed, you throw it in the ground. When the conditions are right, it will grow into a huge tree. That means that small little tree, that seed, small little seed, had the genetic coding of the whole tree. So that small little tree, a seed, is nothing but solidified intelligence, grossified intelligence. Look at a human being. Hands like this, all work so sophisticated. It's such a sophisticated piece of equipment, the human body. It started as what? The ovum and the sperm coming together to form a zygote. Two cells. And the two cells had the genetic coding, diabetes at 50, not taken care of, heart attack by 60, kidney failure by 70, all that is genetically coded. 80 years of a lifetime coded into something which is so microscopic. Wow. Lot of intelligence behind the creation. So in India we will call this intelligence as Ishvara, Bhagavan, God if you want to put it. But intelligence alone is not enough. You need material. Any making anything requires material. Okay. At the end of this talk I am going to ask for a gift from all of you. Together jointly give me a gift. Give me this, kurta, this is called a kurta, guru shirt, kurta, etc. Give it to me. But without any material. Can you even conceive of a kurta without material? There may be some of you here who is designing clothes, etc., who know how to conceive, but without material? No way. No way. Therefore, where did the material come from? For this intelligence to manifest this creation, where did this material come from? You can't say it was lying down somewhere. Then who created that material becomes godder than God. You can't say he created it from nothing, because from nothing, nothing comes. From nothing, nothing will come. From something, something can come. That's why I'm saying, if you think from nothing, something can come, create a kurta for me without material. Nothingness, no? Don't work. And what is there in the beginning is only God. Only Bhagavan. So the material and the intelligence has to be one and the same. There is no other way you can handle this question. So when the Bible or something tells that God created out of nothing, what their meaning is nothing other than himself or herself or itself. So the material and the intelligence is one and the same. This cosmic material and intelligence is what we call God in India. Ishvara, Bhagavan. And that means the whole universe is a manifestation of God. That's why in India everything is sacred. Everything is sacred. We'll worship trees, we'll worship cows, we'll worship anything and everything. We'll worship each other. Yeah. Because everything is manifestation. If you touch my little finger, are you touching me or my little finger? Both, no? You're touching my little finger, but you're touching me. You're drawing my attention. You're not saying, no, I'm only interested in your little finger. The whole of being is invoked in one form. You want to draw my attention, you want to draw the attention of your neighbor, because I made a point that, come on, what is he talking about? You want to tap this little finger. You draw his attention. It is not that because you tap my little finger, I'll give you little attention. You pull my hand a little bit more. Then to get my total attention, you'll have to give me a whole massage. That doesn't happen. The whole is invoked in my little finger. So similarly, now this is our idea of God. So, I, according to my desires and priority, etc., have chosen a line of action. Complete plan of action I have made. Good. Can you guarantee success? However good your plan is, can you guarantee success? The result, that there will be a result for your action is guaranteed. That you will be successful, we all know. We have done so many things in life. You win some, you lose some. Isn't that life? Yeah. England is the home of cricket. Who's your best batsman right now? Best batsman in England? Who would he be? No one plays cricket? Football? Huh? Okay. Does he score 100 every time? Sometimes he gets out for a duck. Yeah. Why? Because that's life. You win some, lose some. And with all this intention, you are doing an action, can be success or failure. What makes it a success or failure? You have done the action with limited knowledge, isn't it? Do you have all knowledge? No human mind has all knowledge. Someone starts an airline in Europe. Suddenly some volcano erupts somewhere. All flights down, flights cancelled, all his routes are cancelled. Could you ever predict that the volcano eruption will affect my airlines? Now you can, because you're wiser. Okay, if you're flying this route, take an insurance for that. But those, could anyone predict a pandemic? What happened to all the plans? 2 years, everything is in limbo. Happens. It happens. So you know, but you know one thing for sure. Everything, the result of everything that you do is shaped by the natural laws. Some of it we know in terms of physics, chemistry, biology, psychology. Some of the laws are known to us. The whole laws out there which we don't know. That's why science is still discovering things. But we know one thing, all that is manifestation of God, of Ishvara. So in anything, that means what? The result of your actions comes from the Lord. Good, bad, ugly, whatever it is, it comes from the Lord. So Karma Yoga has a little cultural component. In India, anything like, there's some flowers here. Let's say there's a flower. If I give this flower to a girl, she says, thank you. Here in India, flowers, girls go together. You'll smell it and say, sweet of you. The same flower, I take it and put it at the feet of the idol there. It's an idol there, invoking Ishvara. And then I give it to her. She'll take it to her eyes first, not her nose. Why? Now it has become sacred. Same flower has become sacred. Why? It's an attitude. It comes from the Lord. You go to our temples. Some of you may have seen an Indian temple. Okay? Some of you were there at the puja that we did before the whole thing started. It's just a sweet, a laddu. But it has been offered to Ganesha. Now what happens? Now it is prasad. It's sacred. So even if you are a diabetic, you will accept it. You may not eat the whole thing because you are diabetic. You may give it away, but you will accept it. There is a glad acceptance because it comes from Ishvara, from the Lord. Anything comes from the Lord is gladly accepted. It's a cultural attitude that has to be developed a bit. Now look at your life. I did the action. My action is my worship. I offer this action to the Lord. Lord, you take care of it. I have done what I can. Result comes. Good, bad, ugly, whatever it is. Acceptance. Why? It's come from the Lord. What does that do to your worry and anxiety and stress? I'm willing to accept. Where does your stress come? From your unwillingness to accept results. Your unwillingness to face fact that your actions are not worked out to the way you wanted it. That appreciation of that possibility makes you feel stressed. What is stress anyway? It's a psychological and an emotional response to a stressor. What is a stressor? Gap between what you have and what you want. What you want is that, what you have is here. So that gap can create stress in you. Especially when you know actions can fail. You know that from past experience. But here you say, it comes from the Lord, I am willing to accept. If it's failure, I will see what went wrong and try again if it is worth it. Be like Robert Bruce, try 7 times. Your history, okay, not mine. Like Robert Bruce, try 7 times. Why 7? Try 10 times. Or you will say, not worth the time and effort, forget it. It's all right. You didn't get it, but it's okay. Why? Acceptance is not meant to be. So either way, you're successful, you grow. You're not successful, you'll grow because you have learned to accept the result. You're stress-free. You have a balance in life. You become bigger than the desire. Desire you have, but you are bigger. Why? I'm willing to accept non-fulfillment. You know, in some of the temples, when you go in India, they will give you ash, holy ash as prasad. What do you do with holy ash? Why? I did so much of things in life, but all the result is burnt out. But that is also from the Lord. Put it on. It's the glory of the Lord. Why? The result is there, no? What is the result? Total failure. But that is the Lord's result. I did, but I did with incomplete knowledge. I am bound to fail. Any action taken with incomplete knowledge is bound to fail, isn't it? That means we are all born losers? No, we are successful. Why? Because a lot of time we have been successful. I cross the road. I am successful. Swamiji, what is that? Because there are people who thought they will be successful, but they woke up in the hospital. It's happened, no? And we walk across, all those who are staying in green, we are walking across the field. Safe, walking across. Yeah, but there was a little thing in the grass, you know, which I didn't see. What about that? Have you accounted for that? Yeah, it's possible, no? Now don't be scared, okay, to walk across. But I'm talking of possibilities of things going wrong. But we walk up and down, nothing has happened. That means you are successful. So even though if you are evaluating only on the basis of knowledge, we should be failing all the time. But you are not. So you say, thank God. God's grace. Not I did it. Thank God I could do it. The whole attitude changes. In this appreciation, the whole attitude changes. From I did it to thank God I could do it. There's a natural humility coming. However successful you are, it's a natural humility. Natural growth. I'm bigger than my desire. Why? I can accept the non-fulfillment. Wow. May not be happily, but okay, Lord. I wanted a break. And by break, I didn't mean a Kit Kat, okay? But your action is important, because without your action, you are not going to get the result. Are you seeing this play of what happens in life? If you live like this, life is smooth. You don't need a stress management workshop. That is fringe benefit of this. Yeah, it's fringe benefit. But your action is very important. There was this guy whom I knew, to go, Tom by name. Let's call him Tom. I don't want to reveal all the names, and that's private, So he's praying to the Lord. Lord, I'm a good man. I kept all your laws, all your this thing. I've done everything right. But I'm very poor. Wealth is eluding me. Please, this month, what do you call it, the lottery? You have a railway lottery, all that. You have all that in it. Yeah. I know a funding agency that was based on the lottery. Okay. UK railway children. That's all. So, please. That month came and went. He didn't get it. Second month, he didn't get it. Lord, it's a Christmas bumper. Please, give me a break. And then he heard a voice from above saying, idiot, give me a break. At least go and buy that blooming ticket. Now, I am not advocating everyone buy lottery ticket. That's not the intention. The intention is that minimum effort I have to do. There is no Santa Claus who is going to give me gifts. Yeah, there is no fairy godmother. I have to work and earn. Yeah. To work is in my hand, result is from Him. What a beautiful life. Inspiring. I'll keep doing what I have to do. Lord, you take care of it. Where's my worry? Where's my anxiety? Where I am growing bigger than my desire. If I live like this, I'll find my priorities are fulfilled. It's easy. All desires are not fulfilled, and that's okay. I become bigger. It's all right. This samatvam is called yoga. The second definition of yoga is this. Connected with chitta vritti nirodha. Mastery of the mind is yoga, Patanjali. Mastery of the mind is yoga. But that mastery comes through this. My whole life is converted. Samjho, I'm a very busy person. No problems. More chances for you to bring this attitude into life, isn't it? Because every action you do, result. Oh Lord, this is yours. Result, whatever comes, acceptance. Wow. I don't have to do anything differently. I don't have to do anything different. I don't have to stand on my head. But I'm a yogi. I'm a yogi. Why? Mastery of the mind. Automatically, naturally. My life is going great guns. And if you have time for some asana pranayama, great, nothing like it. Are you seeing this? How much this karma yoga makes a difference in your life? Life is taken care of. Best prescription for today's living. Why? We are busy. Everyone is busy. Of course you are busy. Modern life is like that. Plus, our desire for wealth, this, that, etc. drives us to do things. Fine, no problems. No problems. Live a life of karma yoga. You get it? You make your life. You get things in terms of your material world, everything goes out well. Your spiritual growth is happening. You are using the material world for your spiritual growth. Exactly like how in yoga you are using your body to get to your mind, isn't it? You are using your bodies to actually master your mind. Body mastery, yes, it is there. So what is yoga? The uncomfortable way of sitting, the uncomfortable way of standing, the uncomfortable way of touching your toes. Want to touch your toes? Yeah. No knee bending, no this. Why are you making it difficult? No. The difficult way is the yoga way. I'm joking, okay? Yeah. So, why? Because you're using your body to master your mind. You're using your breath to get a hold on your mind. Here, you're using an attitude. There is some devotion involved here. There is devotion. Why? Because you're accepting the play of the Lord in your life. Whether you recognize it or not, it is there. Christ said that, no? Not a leaf shall fall, not a bird shall fall unless he wills it. He was speaking to his students, 12 disciples. He said that. Not a bird shall fall until he wills it. And you are worth many birds. I don't know whether he was calling them bird brain, but whatever. Okay. You are worth many birds. Yeah. Because they were anxious if they are going out in the world to preach the word of God, whether people will listen to them or not. They listen to them. If they listen, doesn't listen, fine. Now they say Christ is going to come next time in USA. They all feel that he is going to be born in States. I hope not. Why? Last time he came, he had 12 full-time disciples, which is a big thing. Today, if he comes in States, there will be no disciples. Why? Oh Lord, I have my student loans, I have my house loan, I have my car to pay off. How can I follow you? You better be born somewhere else where it is easier to follow. In India, you will get a lot of disciples, not a problem. Anyway, there are plenty of useless guys like us, so what is the issue? Now, look at it. This whole way of living life, karma yoga, you get that balance you need in life. Balance in terms of your desires because you are living by your priorities. And when your action, etc., your emotional state is balanced. Why? Willing to accept what happens. See, look at it. This is very important to understand. It is not fatalism. You are proactive to do what is necessary. Remember that lottery ticket. You are proactive to do what is necessary. And that is combined with acceptance of fact, acceptance of reality. This is the reality. This action has given me this. Okay, it may be exactly what I want. Sometimes if you are very lucky, it may be more than what you want. It may be less than what you want. Or it may be complete opposite of what you want. 4 possibilities, right? Whatever the possibility, Lord, I accept. That is it. I am proactive enough to do, and I have the attitude of acceptance. Even if you take nothing away from this festival, if you can take this and live by this, you will become a force to reckon with in the society. Take it from me. This much you put into your life. You are not an ordinary person anymore. You are highly proactive and you are willing to accept facts. Result is a fact. It's all gone down the drain. Great. Acceptance. Lord, today you given me ashes. I was hoping for a laddu. And what you have given me is ash. You laugh at it. You laugh. Because you will see the paradox. And the paradox will not make you upset. It will make you, you will have some real laughter coming in your life. What a way to live. What an inspiring way to live. People around you will get inspired. That what is this man? The guy is unshakable. What is this woman? My God, look at her. So many issues in her life and she's laughing it away at this. My God. Yeah. Believe me, I have students like this, everything in their life is going wrong. Everything. Not one thing. Relationship, work, this, that. But they're being able to have that balance. Yeah, that's great. And if, when things go right, great. Thank you, Lord. Fine. Yeah, thank you. Fine. Yeah. Whatever, in whatever manner you want to say thank you. Adab, thank you. Doesn't matter. Okay. Any questions on this before I go ahead? Or this much is clear? Yep. Someone give her the mic, please. I'm a bit hard of hearing, so you'll have to speak loud. That's the God's gift, okay? That's the Lord's gift to me. So I am to listen to a lot of nonsense that happens. I was in the Navy before, so all the explosions and the firing and all compromise my hearing a bit. And with age, one of the signs of aging I am having, not having too many signs, but one is this hearing is compromised a bit. And with this, I can't wear my hearing aid because there's already too many things. My specs are there, this is there. How many things are going to put behind my ear? So I accept the fact my hearing is compromised. Yes, young lady.
Yes. So my question is this understanding and attitude enough, or does one has to make it more ritualistic and offer it to the Lord? You know, like either our action or, as you mentioned, anyway, food or whatever. Is it because I know that in India, in tradition, things are literally offered first?
Yeah.
Or is it enough?
See, in India, we are ritualistic for other reasons. We have a lot of spiritual materialism in India. Means what? You want wealth? Okay, you work for it, you start a business. Then, let us take care of it religiously also. Let us worship Mahalakshmi. Let us do a puja. So that this will, so it is meant to enhance your action. So that is not necessary for a karma yogi. You don't have to be ritualistic. However, you need an understanding of the Lord and be able to accept that in your heart. That, hey, things happen by the laws of the Lord. It's a logical thing. By the laws of the Lord, the laws are shaping the result. Not your law or my law. Or not a law like in India which changes according to your political beliefs, and you know. Or for my children or grandchildren. No. It's universal. Whether a kid jumps out of the window or a saint jumps out of the window, the universal laws will be the same. 32 feet per second will come down. So gravity is a manifestation of Ishvara. One of the most important manifestations of Ishvara's laws. Because without gravity, all will be floating around. So, a little bit of understanding, even if it is a global understanding that there is a Lord and all this is the result of all actions are shaped by the Lord. Then it's shaped by the hands of the Lord. Anything that comes from the Lord is a blessing. I'll accept it. You have this in your culture as well. The thing of getting grace. If you're like in your church, you go, if you're a Catholic, and what is it that you accept that piece of bread dipped and placed on your tongue? It's prasada. We call it prasada. In India, as anything else, we have a varieties of prasada because we know. Lord, I like a lot of things, so I say Lord also likes a lot of things. So I offer all sorts of stuff to the Lord. What I like, I offer to the Lord. So that I can eat it without any sense of guilt. Because prasada, how can you say no to prasada? It becomes a good excuse as well. But if you looked at it in the proper spirit, there's a solid acceptance. It's great. You live a life, accept. You don't have to make it ritualistic. But let enough understanding of the Lord so that I can accept the play of the Lord in my life. That's why look at it. I'm giving modern examples. I'm not talking about some miracle or something. Hey, life is the greatest miracle possible. That I can talk. My whole voice box has evolved in such a manner that I can talk. and your ears have evolved in such a manner that you can hear. Isn't that a miracle? The development of language, oh my God, evolution took a big flip when we developed language in favor of the human beings. Miraculous. The growth of a tree is miraculous. When you have a child, oh, come on, you think the mother understands all the process of having the child? What's happening inside? No mother understands from. The mother's doctor also doesn't understand. You think the gynecologist understand? I have gynecological friends. He says, we understand barely 20% of what's happening. But we still trust the gynecologist and go there. No? They don't have the last word. They don't understand everything. You know, ever since I remember, since my friends were in medical college to now, research is going on in how that zygote, the fetus, sticks to the walls of the womb. Uterine walls. How does that thing stick? If you could solve this problem, you could have an artificial womb outside the body. 40 years since more than 40, 50 years, research has been on and they are not yet found it. How does it stick? Should be such a simple thing, no? If there are engineers, they will say, take some glue and stick it. You don't. If you are not understanding that, what is it that we are understanding? A simple thing. How does it stick? So, nobody has but it is miraculous, no? Two cells came together and whole life is manifesting. What more miracle do you want than that? You want me to be like Dumbledore and wave my wand and, you know, show some magic for a miracle. That's peanuts. Look at the solar system. I mean, come on. What? The play of centrifugal and gravity forces, keeping everything in order. This much forces we understand, so we think only these three are involved. We don't know whether more are involved. We don't know them. But it's keeping everything in balance. Miraculous. Miraculous. The play of Ishvara, the play of the Lord in our lives is affecting us. Yeah. The sun's influence on us is affecting us. All of you experienced it last week. 40 degrees. The moon affects us. We don't notice it. Unless you are slightly, then you will notice it fast. Yeah. The menstrual cycle in human beings is based on the moon. If the moon is destroyed, human race is wiped out because there will be no more childbearing. That's all we require for us to be extinct. The moon influence has to be knocked off. That's enough. Because the moon has a 28, 29 day cycle that syncs with our system. My God. So that much understanding of Ishvara is enough for me to have a devotional attitude. Devotion is an attitude that you have. Now acts of devotion are done just to bring it out in me. You know, so you do some rituals. Oh Lord, fine. Some rituals to bring out the devotion. Because very often when we understand Ishvara, the devotion we don't feel. What is it like? It is like getting into a romantic relationship. You feel, oh, there is some connect. You meet some guy at a party. There is some connect. I'd like to meet this guy again. And the guy feels the same thing. Does it mean you jump into a relationship immediately? Sometimes it happens, love at first sight. Sometimes. But most of the times, how it is? You exchange numbers, you exchange a few messages, meet over a coffee. Where do you have to meet over a coffee? What does coffee got to do with your relationship? Tell me, what does coffee got to do with your relationship? Relationship, meeting of two minds, two souls if necessary. What is coffee? Where does coffee come in between? Comes in between because you're creating, you're taking a few steps to friendship and a connect. Coffee. You send some flowers over. All these are what? Acts done when you are in love. But you are not yet in love. But when you do these simple actions, go on a date, go on this thing, the love comes up. Previously it was just like, nice person, he seemed good, nice guy. That's all it was. From there to transit into a relationship, you went through all these steps. With the Lord it is the same. Do whatever steps you need to get connect, feel the connect. If it is with nature, be with nature. If it is with a ritual, do it. If it is throwing some flowers at the Lord, do that. Yeah. If it is intellectual, understanding the whole thing, do that. Do what it takes to get that connect. Do what it takes. So that what you understand and your heart, there is a certain harmony in that. You understand and the emotional thing has come up. You are devotional. Though you may not wear a single mark of devotion. Usually you will see monks with, do you see any me with that? You don't see me with that. Yeah. Why? God has given me a forehead that will not retain anything. Supposing I take some vibhuti and some put in the morning after bath. Because I say, well, fine. Half an hour it disappears. Why? This is a very oily skin. So if people are seeing a glow on my face, it's because of the oil, okay? So you do what is necessary to bring out this feeling so that in life, you can say, hey, in Christianity there's a statement, to let the Lord into your life. Hey, the Lord is already there. You only have to recognize it. You have to only recognize Him. And if you recognize Him and have these two attitudes, that you are offering everything to Ishvara, to Lord, you are accepting everything as prasada, as a grace, as a gift from the Lord. The gift which is the result of your own actions. So, you don't blame anyone. Whom do I blame? Doesn't come up. Who is to be blamed? This action, this is a result according to the laws. That's it. No one to blame. You don't blame others. You don't blame yourself. You don't blame the Lord as well. Lord, why did you do this to me? I didn't do. You did it to yourself. So I am to be blamed? No, because you didn't have all knowledge. No one can have all knowledge. This is spirituality. You love doing what is necessary. You are proactive enough to do what is necessary and have the equanimity to accept things. Samatvam yoga muchyate, this balance that you get is yoga. Ties in with chitta vritti nirodha. Patanjali of yoga and Samatvam of Vedanta. Now you see the connect, how it is coming in. Very natural, effortless connect. Did Patanjali mean that also? In the Yama Niyamas, there is this thing called Ishvara Pranidhanam. Worship of the Lord, it is there in your Yama Niyama. That is the base for yoga to be called. But we have partition yoga, only asana pranayama. Yoga is much more holistic than that. I am trying to give you all the big picture of it. So when you get this balance, what type of balance? You are not static. It's not the balance of this chair. This chair is very well balanced, no? It doesn't move. But this chair can't move. It is a balance of a ship on the river. Dynamic balance. It's the balance of a ship out at sea. Storms come, this come. But you have got your balance. You are rolling. You are rolling. You are not static. The sea is a live thing. You are rolling. But there is a balance. Once in a way the balance can go out, okay? That's all right. You are human. But can you recover fast? You define that in sports medicine. No? It is not whether you have collapsed, you have worked until collapse that's the problem. The fitness is also based on how quick you recover. How quickly you recover. So similarly here, you will go off balance once in a while. Of course you will. You are human. What do? Get back on track. Get back on track. That's all that you have to do. So nobody can come and tell me we are too busy for yoga. Follow this yoga, this aspect of yoga. Busy, very good. More chances for being a karma yogi. More chances to bring this attitude to your life. More chances. Great. Your balance is maintained. Mastery of the mind is there. You are calm, peaceful in the face of threats. Something threatening is happening. All right. What can I do about it? You do what you can. This situation you can do nothing. Pray to the Lord. Lord, it is your business now. Take care of it. Because there will be moments when you feel helpless. There will be. Like whenever there has been a natural calamity or anything in Bombay where I stay, I am the first man out to help with things, society, whatever you need, whether it's flooding or whether it's a fire, I am out there. My young martial arts students are also out there. Right? They're young, tough guys here, come on, help. What is the point in doing 200 push-ups if you can't lift some people and lift some rubble and help some people out of the rubble that is there and they're trapped inside? What is the point in doing all that push-up and developing the strong body? Come on, help it out. And they all do very well. They get a thrill out of doing it. This time, I was helpless. Why? Anywhere I'm going, COVID. Sir, you're a senior citizen. We can't involve you. I said, hell, I'm fitter than you all. I said, I'm fitter. I will prove it. My immunity is much better than yours. I've been exposed to COVID lots of times. But no, sir. Now, what do I do? Okay, I said, sit at home, pray, and raise some funds to help the people who need the help. That's what you can do. If you stop to think, if you see you have to do it this way, which I have been used to doing, then you may find yourself helpless. You never helpless because always ways to contribute. We have an ashram set up in Rishikesh, we have an ashram set up in Coimbatore, two different cities in India. We are feeding 1,000 people every day. People who are out of job because of the pandemic. So we are raising funds and all to do that. Something you can contribute. Yeah, not like there's a flood and I'm going and pulling people out of flooded cars and things like that. May not be like that, but differently. So you're proactive in life in 10 different ways you can be. And acceptance. Because there's some place where you will not, all that you do, you cannot save somebody. What to do? Yeah. Happens. You win some, you lose some. Lord, it's your responsibility, not mine. My responsibility is what? I do. I act. I am proactive. That's it. Result, your job. You take care of it, I will accept whatever you give me. Great thing in life, I'm telling you. Even if this much you put into your life, you are no more an ordinary person. Yes, people start looking at you and saying, my God, this guy. There's something about this person, something about this woman. She may be young in years, but here, nothing faces her. Is that something you all want to be? Your choice. I can only explain. Your choice to bring it into your life. Yeah. Clear up to now? Okay. There is a third definition from the Gita. Again. I mentioned this in the morning also, but I didn't explain it. Yoga karmasu kaushalam. Yoga is competency in your actions. Yoga is competency. Now, what is this competency? Okay. We are not talking about your skill competency. That's not what is being mentioned. Why? Because if it is skill competency, this guy is an assassin. Okay? Paid assassin. Highly skillful. You give him a job, it is done. Never misses his target. Does he become a great yogi? He's a very competent person, but he's not a yogi. What he's doing is wrong in the size of the universal principles. There is something called dharma. What is dharma? That which sustains is dharma. If you want the broadest definition possible, that which sustains is dharma. This is easier said than done. What sustains this earth? Gravity, etc. So that will be included as dharma in India. But we are talking about something more specific to human beings. What sustains a relationship? This you all should be able to know. Because I'm sure all of you have got into some relationship or the other at some time or the other. Speaker included. So we know relationship is something that all of us understand. Tell me, what sustains a relationship? Love, honesty, integrity, commitment, minimum. Sense of humor, etc. is secondary. But basic, you need somebody honest, who's loving, who's got a sense of integrity and a sense of commitment. Unless you are defining yourself as polyamorous and getting into a relationship with another polyamorous. Okay. Those are all just excuses to get away with what you want. Okay. There may be some truth in it, some psychological thing. I am willing to accept it. Not a problem. That's why there are exceptions. Okay. So this will be your dharma in a relationship. Because this is what sustains a relationship. Same way at work. Your loyalty to the organization, your commitment to the organization. It's very similar. You mean to say I'm married to the organization? No. As long as you are there, that commitment, loyalty, etc. is there. When you leave, you won't take all the secrets of the organization and vanish. No. So, whatever sustains is dharma. Therefore, in our relationship with people, in the way we do things, this dharmic component is very, very important. And what is it based on? How will you feel at the end of the 4 days? I tell you all those, especially those who have attended every session of mine. You know what? Everything I said was a bluff. How will you feel? You will throw whatever you are at me, na? And I won't blame you for it. Why? Because you don't want to be bluffed. You mean to say, I want to be bluffed? No. Your neighbors want to be bluffed. Universally, nobody wants to be lied to. Therefore, honesty is part of universal dharma. Therefore, universal ethics for the time being, let us call universal ethics as dharma. Dharma is more than that, but those dimensions we can see some other time. Universal ethics is called dharma. But there also there is a variation. That variation is swadharma. Are you expected to do what a soldier does? No. I am a civilian. I am not expected to do what a soldier does. Therefore, the soldier's dharma varies from my dharma in terms of the roles I am playing. Am I expected to do what a married person does? No, I am a monk. He is a married person. So, our dharmas have a change. Honesty, integrity, etc. remains the same. But in our relationship with people, there is a difference. So, this is called your personal dharma. Depending upon the roles you are playing. Dharma is always connected to the roles that you are playing in life. As a citizen, there is some dharma. No? With respect to your country. As a visitor, there is some dharma to the country, to the nation. To Britain, I have some dharma towards it. I have to obey all the civic things. Political rights I don't have, so there is no political dharma. But you have a right to vote, which is also a dharma, you are supposed to vote. I am not supposed to. That is not my dharma because I am not a citizen of this country. Are you getting the differences that come in? So, dharma is universal. So, honesty, integrity, love, compassion, justice, all these becomes universal because everyone wants it. Justice do you not want? Whether you are a person here in a developed nation, one of the oldest democracies in the world, you want it. What about a developing country in Africa? Do they not want justice? Another developed country like USA, they don't want justice? Or India, we don't want justice? Universal. It goes across cultures and nations and civilizations. It's human. By human, what do I mean? What about the aliens? By humans, I am meaning somebody who is self-aware, somebody who has freedom of choice. It doesn't depend how their bodies look. 4 limbs, 8 limbs, 2 heads, all that doesn't matter. All that doesn't matter. Do you have self-awareness and freedom of choice? Human. As I said, the animals don't have that. You can't say a dog is loyal. Why? Because he doesn't know how to be disloyal. Does he have a choice to be disloyal? If you feed a dog, he'll be loyal. He doesn't have a choice to be disloyal. You and I have a choice, no? You're loyal, no, I'm going to stab him in the back. We can be disloyal. Therefore, it becomes dharma to recognize and do what is necessary. I don't want to be stabbed in the back. So why should I stab somebody else in the back? He doesn't want it. So the universal is dharma. So one aspect of your competency is how dharmic you can be. This is not rules and regulations. This goes beyond rules and regulations to principles of life. You're being dharma centered. Your principles, universals. Is it absolute? Of course not. It's relative. Like gravity, is gravity absolute? Some places you can't even measure it. The scientists will say between the earth and the moon, it's a place where there is no gravity. You're going out of the gravitational field of the earth. Not really. Why? Because gravity is the mass, is directly proportional to the masses of the attraction, to the mass of the bodies, and inversely proportional to the distance between them. Actually, to the square root of the distance between them. So the further you have, the less gravity field will be there. But it is there. That's why it's being kept in the orbit very nicely. You can't measure it. Gravity is saying, what can I do if you can't measure it? I am there. I know I am there. You don't know. So some places you can't. So similarly, universality will have a limit to it. It is universal, but not absolute. Remember one thing, dharma is not absolute. No value is absolute. There is a relativity of it in application. You have to interpret it in application. So how much you bring dharma into your relationship, into your life, into your work, that will be one dimension of competency. The other dimensions also which, hey, I have 2 more lectures after this. I have enough time. Okay, and there is only one more definition. And then I am going to link up everything together on the last day. Okay, yeah. So, any questions on this? There's, yeah, shoot. Yeah.
Yes.
Hello, can you hear me?
I can.
You kind of answered.
A bit closer. Yeah.
You kind of answered my question.
About?
You've answered it partly, my question.
Sorry,
So-
I'm not getting. You have to speak up a bit more.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, better.
Okay.
Can you just raise the thing? I think the volume is a bit low.
How is it now?
That's fine.
Okay. I can hear myself.
Yeah.
So speaking the truth sometimes infers somebody's anger. Then I find myself in conflict. So I find myself sometimes in difficulty to say anything, and then I withdraw And then that creates another, like, it's like, you know, like Patanjali says, the niyamas, yamas, at the same time there's dharma. So that inner conflict, how to approach it, maybe it's relative, as you say.
Balance it out. It's, as I said, it's a dynamic balance. There is no fixed balance. A bit too loud, yeah. Because it warms up and then it becomes loud. Yeah. So it's a question of finding a balance. See, sometimes the same scripture can seem directly opposite things. That's where you know in what circumstances what you are supposed to. Like, let us take honesty, for example. Of course, we are talked about universality of honesty. Somebody comes running and sits here. Within a minute, another guy follows with an AK-47 in his hand. Did anybody come here? No, Baba, they're all seekers here, nobody else, okay? I'm going to tell that lie. And I'll look at you all and say, did anybody come? Hoping that all of you will lie. Why? Hey, because that guy's life is more valuable now than the lie that I'm saying. Isn't it? The value of life overcomes this. I'm doing it to save somebody's life. But at the same time, if that guy is a cop coming in, then the whole answer will change. Yeah, because probably he's a suspect or something. Yeah, I think we better go in peacefully. There are no problems for you and for us. Can you see how that whole thing changes? Dharma is universal in principle, relative in application. Here is where the grey areas come, and here is where our growth comes. If it is black and white, it's very simple. It's never black and white. Life is about a million shades of grey. There is black, there is white, yes. But there is a million shades of grey in it. Some of you are wearing white, this is also white. But even in white there are shades. A million shades. So you have to find that balance. And that uncertainty helps your growth. If everything was certain, there is no growth. The uncertainty of things, that uncertainty principle helps your growth. The ability of the mind to hold seemingly contradictory ideas. It is there in science as well. Wow. Contradictory idea in science? Yes. Like for example, light is a wave motion. It travels in waves like any energy. But you know this instrument, many of us use this. This is based on the straight line principle of light. That light travels in a straight line. But we all know life is a wave motion. But it works. It works. What can I do? Hey, light, why are you so contradictory? I say, don't you know? I'm the feminine principle. I'm supposed to be contradictory. It is my right to be contradictory. I'm politically incorrect towards a woman, but okay. I'm thinking woman will lie away. It's your right to be contradictory. Hey, that's a great thing to have. You can get away with anything. It's good. Yeah. I learned that from my first girlfriend, you know. He said, that's a contradictory statement. And she turned around and said, but it's a woman's right to be contradictory. What can you tell her then? Except put an arm around her. How do you respond to a statement like that? So, it's there in science. Have you heard of the Schrodinger's cat? The scientist Schrödinger, he made this theory. The cat is kept in a box and poison is injected into the atmosphere. Do you know the cat is alive or the cat is dead? You don't know. Until you open the box, you will not know. So simultaneously, you can think of the cat as being alive or as being dead. The possibility. In Vedanta, I'll give you half a dozen possibilities like that. Not just alive or dead. Maybe it is like this, maybe it is like that, maybe it is both this or that. That I don't want to get into all those type of technicalities. You'll go crazy with that. Yeah. It may be alive, it may be dead, it can be both alive and dead. It can be half dead. Even more possibilities. It may be dead right now, but it can be revived when it's opened. The possibilities are endless. Why are you limiting it to 2? Because most people think in binary systems. Yes or this or that. And life is not about this or this. I think there's an English writer who wrote lateral thinking is who? Edward de Bono. I think he's based in Britain. I'm not sure. Edward de Bono. He wrote a book called Beyond Yes and No. He called it Po. Po, which is beyond yes and no. You ask any Tamilian here, they'll say, sir, we know this long back. Hey, will you do this for me? Poya. Typical Tamil expression which says, go, I'm not going to do either. Because life is like that. There is a million possibilities. So, when you talk of dharma, shades of grey, learn to be comfortable with that. Do what you think is the best for you, best in the situation. The situation, you go by what the situation demands. This requires a little bit of objectivity. What the situation demands. Like if I give you an example, here after someone slips and falls right here. Will anybody hesitate to help that person up? No, because that's what the situation demands. Or are you going to say, we are not introduced, I don't know her enough to touch her, or I should take permission to. Do we say all these things, or you just help the person up? But it's the most natural thing to do. So in a situation, what is the best thing to do? Do that. That will be a dharma, all right. Without your ego interference. See, there can be a very, what do you call, what reaction can I have? A spontaneous reaction where your ego doesn't interfere. Or an ego-based, a reactive response. A reactive response, your ego and all your samskaras, all your kleshas, etc. come into the picture. In a spontaneous response, nothing except the right thing comes up. So you don't spontaneously get angry. That's a reaction. That's a reactive response. But you can spontaneously care for somebody. Why? That's human. We are meant to care for each other, otherwise human beings will not survive. So, grey. To be comfortable with grey is human growth. And life is all about grey. Black and white is so easy to handle. Yeah. So, there are any other questions? Because we have a few minutes left. Or I have overloaded you all? I hope not. It's simple. It's profound but simple. Yeah.
At the beginning you said... Hello?
Yes.
At the beginning you said you have a broad definition of God, and it is the same God with all the great religions. Is that the same?
I'm sorry, I'm not following.
Okay, at the beginning you spoke about a broad definition of God. You use the word God or Lord, and you suggest that it's the same God for every faith, great faith. Would you say that that is the same God as what some people might call a universal consciousness? Are we part of God, is my question, in your eyes?
Yeah, there is that equation of you to God, but that's at an entirely different standpoint. I'll try to cover that before the last day. Okay, I'll try to cover that. That's why I've gone a little fast today, bringing in the second part of it, but I still have to cover some aspect of it. I'll try to bring in that also, because that'll be pure Vedanta. That'll be pure Vedanta. I'll try to at least touch upon it, bring that in. Because the last definition is dukkha samyoga viyoga. Your separation from your natural association with grief. From your grief here is existential. So there I will try to bring in that Vedanta. But yeah, I'll do that. At least touch upon it, if not elaborately explain. Yeah, I'll do that. So any questions on this up to here? That Nirodha and Samatvam and Kushalatvam. Kushalatvam, there is still some more aspect, but I will cover that. Because tomorrow I have that to cover and touch and start the fourth definition. And Sunday I'll wrap it up. So, all goes smooth. Yeah. Enough time. So, good place to stop. You know, I always believe in stopping 5 minutes early than 5 minutes late, because then you know that the kid in us feels happy. 5 minutes. Yeah. And if you are hungry, you can rush straight before all the queue forms. Practical things, you know. Every Vedantin is very practical. Yeah. So, good place to stop then. Om Tat Sat. Take care. Have a nice day. See you all tomorrow.